everyone, you're listening to the Tea with Tanya podcast, and I'm your host, Tanya Ambrose. I'm a public health professional by day and your average tea-loving millennial and content creator by night. My goal for this podcast is to share public health stories, self-love and wellness tips to educate and empower and to promote positive living. This podcast is here to serve you. Join me in the tea tasting room to see what I have brewing for you. So hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Tea with Tanya podcast. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, even though I say this about all my guests, because all my guests are special, but she's someone I've been wanting to be on my Instagram live, and now she's on the podcast. I am so happy to have her, and today's topic is going to be really, really interesting, especially coming from her. I've been wanting to pick her brain a little bit to see, how she survives in today's society, especially as a natural hair or a Black woman with natural hair in the corporate world. So I'm happy to have her. Her name is Charlene. Of course, I'm going to tell you guys how we met, how I know her, but of course, I'm going to let her be the one to tell us about herself and where we met, and then I'll give my recollection, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same. But so welcome to the Tea with Tanya podcast, Charlene. It's good to have you. Let the people know all you want to let us know about yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm super excited to be on the podcast. Finally, it's been too long.
I know.
Tanya mentioned I'm Charlene. I am, aka Loaferette. I'm a natural hair enthusiast. I don't like to say influencer. I'm just very enthusiastic about natural hair. I do YouTube, I do Instagram, and that's just a hobby for me. So on the days where I'm getting paid, I'm an accountant / auditor. So I work for one of the big fours, and having natural hair in the big four, let me not say it was a struggle, but it was more of a mental struggle for me figuring out whether or not it was okay or not. But yeah, I met Tanya back in school, in high school. We all went to the same high school. And I really met Tanya when we were playing netball. Netball is, if anyone doesn't know, netball is, I call it the girl version of basketball.
Yes.
Just look it up. I'll go round and round in circles if I try to even tell you guys what netball is.
Yeah. We're just not bouncing the ball as much, but it's pretty much and we're just wearing skirts,
That's the best part.
Well, so we did meet in high school, and I remember us traveling, to the different Caribbean islands to play netball. So that was one of the things that one of my memories that I always cherish or look back on when I think about, Sean, when I see her out here doing that thing, I said, look at us, from playing netball, grinding, always winning, because we didn't really know how to lose when it came to netball, but
only win.
Yeah, we were always winners. It was just so I'm most always happy when I see you out here, thriving and winning. But I know we're gonna talk about natural hair, but as you told us, you are a content creator. So what made you? Well, first of all, I guess we can ask, what made you decide to go natural, and then we'll talk about that. Like, what made you? Oh, you know what? Let me move from having like a relaxed hair to now becoming natural.
Mm-hmm. So it was a really aha moment for me. And I know a lot of people don't really get the aha moment. The aha moments make you stay natural or stay in whatever it is that you have decided to switch to. But I remembered when I was living in Houston at the time, my sister, she's been natural since the natural hair journey started. I didn't really believe in it. I was like, I'm going to perm my hair from now to next year. I need them straight here. I need the length.
Right.
And I saw her one day on a Wednesday. Granted, we both at the time worked for big four accounting companies, and it's stressful work, right? So, but you always feel like you need to be well put together, as a Black person. So I remember on the Wednesday, she was just there deep conditioning her hair. And I'm like, why are you deep conditioning your hair? We have work tomorrow. Are you mad? She was just there laying down watching TV, and then I saw when she was about to rinse out her hair, how soft and easy and manageable it was because she had on a ton of conditioner in there. And I, back in the day, you were like dime size, you don't need a lot of conditioner. But she made me realize that you can just use a tonic conditioner and it'll make your hair a lot more manageable. And I just saw how she was about it, and it just switched that day. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And I've been natural ever since.
For me, when I was living in New Jersey at the time, I had my perm here. I was going to the Dominicans to get my, what we call it, the doobie, get the hair wash, wrap, and whatever. And my hair was a bit healthy then, but then I think it was something in the water there. I don't know. I don't know. Because, growing up, the products that we even use now, back then we were just using the regular whatever, wash your shampoo, regular grease, and then your hair was thriving. But for some reason, my hair just was always dry. I don't know. What the issue was, and it was breaking. So I was like, okay, let me cut my hair and try S-curl, because I didn't want to go natural. I'm like, what, it just wasn't a thing, because growing up, I was at perm hair, or natural hair wasn't something that was celebrated back then. Right. So I'm like, okay, let me cut my hair first. I did like one of those short perm hair, like the back is low and the front is kind of whatever. I was doing that. Water was still bad in Jersey. It's like, I guess, too hard. I don't know what it was, but my hair was just always dry, no matter how much moisturizer or whatever I used. And I said, okay, let me just shave it all off, but let me do some S-curl, because again, I was in a sense kind of scared to go back to the natural way, because it wasn't something that was being done as much. And then I did the S-curl, and I'm like, I don't have the time to be putting all these little other products in my hair, so I just cut my hair again, and then I just started going out, and that's when I became a natural. And I, for me personally, I was just always confident, but when my hair was shorter, it was more manageable, but I didn't feel, how should I put it? There was just no anything negative for me when I became natural. And like you said, with your system, you can deep condition, you can put whatever products in your hair, and you can go. You can just keep it moving. But no, we're seeing a lot of, as you said, the natural hair community, and you are a very consistent YouTuber. Of course, you YouTube about many different things, but what was it like for you? Or do you feel like you're part of the natural hair community? Because I'm just gonna be honest, they can be toxic from what I've seen. Like the toxicity is real when it comes to the natural hair community. For what reason, I don't, especially in the Black community. Obviously Black community. But anyway, so how did you navigate, or when you decided you were going to be a YouTuber? What was that feeling there? What was that thought process to know, what, I'm coming into this new world? Because I'm sure, there were other people that was natural undoing it before you, in a sense. So what was your thought process behind that, and how did you feel then compared to now, being a naturalista? Yeah.
That's a really good question. I don't think anyone has ever asked me that. But honestly, I've never really been the type to watch people on YouTube do natural hair. I never thought it was a thing until, Instagram started to blow up some more, and, you saw these little, micro influencers coming in, and then you see, like, I would only go on YouTube to see what it was that they were doing to get it a particular way, and then I'll buy the product. I wouldn't necessarily watch them as if it was a journey for me to watch them.
Yeah.
But the reason why I really started was because I realized that my hair was growing very long, and I wasn't really doing much to it. I was very much a lazy natural, but a strategic lazy natural. Because I would do my hair every month, and my hair would stay that way for a long time, but I would have the same style every single time. So I remember, people asking me how did you get your hair so long? How do you do your twist outs? How long do you do what type of products do you use? And I remember constantly having to say the same things over and over.
Right.
Copied and pasted it. But I was like, there would be that, couple of people coming back saying, I tried this, but, and then I'd be like, did you use gel though? And they're like, no, I used a curl definer. And I'm like, yeah, it's not going to work if you're not using what I asked. So I think at that point I realized, I need a way for me to be able to kind of send them videos to show them how to do it. So it's not just about, okay, hey, these are the products I use, these are the steps. It's just to show you the application. Right. So that's why I started out on Instagram, because I know, people always say, oh, I'm going to join YouTube. I'm going to do YouTube. And then they start and then they don't continue. They're not consistent. And I didn't want to be that type of person. I'm very competitive, and I'm very much, I'm very it has to be this way. I don't want anyone to say anything different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started on Instagram, started doing my little mini 1-minute videos. And then I remember my first video got so much traction. And so much traction, but then I read the comments, and most of it was very positive, but then the others were like, oh, that looks crazy. That looks da 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 da, right? So then I'm like, okay, well, it's time for me to really step it up. And then I decided, yo, I'm gonna do YouTube, but then, if I do YouTube, it has to be correct. So and then I wouldn't leave Instagram alone though. So I
Right.
YouTube and then like shorten the videos for Instagram. So that's really the reason why I kind of did the whole YouTube, and it was all about hair. As it relates to how the natural hair community is now, it's very biased. I'm not going to hold back on that. It's
Yeah, be
biased
honest. Mm-hmm.
to persons with it's more in favor of persons with like the 3A, 3B, 3Cs, the looser curl patterns. And
Yeah.
anyone with type 4, and I'm not even talking about type 4A. I mean, 4-1. What is it? 4-1B?
Yeah, because it's 4A,
4,
4C. I think I'm 4C. Yeah.
right, 4A, not even 4A. I'm talking about 4B and C. Right
C's.
there.
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot. And I could push out any amount of content more than, people with looser hair. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like, don't get me wrong. I do get persons coming to me and asking me, hey, can you try this? Can you try that? But I would see, colleagues, people that actually do their hair,
Yeah.
but they're not consistent on YouTube. They're not anything like that. All you have to do is wet tits, put a little
And
curl
that's it.
liner, and
Yeah,
then
run your finger. Yeah.
and that's it. And then they get all this recognition for having this type of hair. And I'm like, at the end of the day, like I don't really
Yeah,
care.
I think it's biased. And not to cut you off, because like I said, even for me, when I first did my big chop, I went the S curl route because I was like, oh, no, let me have like a curlier hair because that is what I was seeing, or that is what was deemed acceptable. Because like you say, for us, with like 4C, you have to dig and search and become an FBI just to find like content catered towards those with like the tighter curls, and it's just like I just hate that part. When it comes to the natural hair, like why can't we just celebrate every curl pattern? But with the natural hair community growing and becoming much more bigger, especially with your curl pattern, have you at any point in time experienced any form of imposter syndrome being in this community? Because again, like we say, people are favoring a particular curl pattern over the other, and being that the curl pattern that you have is not one that is, we would say, popular. Because let's be real, how it is. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome in the natural hair community?
Not really from my end because I'm a mixture between like a 4BC. So
Right.
like top would be like very B. It's the pattern that, well, at least on top here, it's hard for me to kind of curl it. It looks curled to people, but I know it could be better. But
Right.
the only kind of imposter syndrome really that I might have felt was that, persons assuming that my hair is easy to take care of. My hair is easy to deal with. I have that kind of loose pattern. But what people don't understand is when you mix water and conditioner together on any hair pattern, it looks loose and it becomes
Yeah.
easier to deal with. So maybe that, but no, never. I know I have the Gangachana and it's gonna be Gangachana until the day I die.
That is so funny because like for me, I'm like, I've been a natural for a while. Like, I've been on and off. Like, I've done big chops several times. I've grown my hair out, and I've become a product junkie. But now I'm kind of like, slacking off now. But would you consider yourself a product junkie, or how do you know? I mean, that's a good question. But how can one tell if a product is for them? Because, like you said, people will ask you, oh, I've been trying something, but this didn't work. And then, you have to, even though we have one product that's it's a curling cream, sometimes you have to mix it with something else to get whatever result. So how can one tell when a product is for you, or is it for people who are listening who think, oh, let me just use this particular brand only? What would you tell them as far as like, trial and error? Because, we have to go through a bunch of products essentially, but what would you tell them for those who are trying to figure out, when do I know that this product is for me, and let me just stick with this product for a while until,
Right.
my hair cooperates?
So it's really about, again, the hair, right? However your hair is. But unfortunately, it is trial and error. It's hard for me to say, hey, you should try this or you should try that. You should, it's very difficult. Even if I say, okay, what's your hair pattern? It's still not up to me to tell you, okay, do this. It's really a trial and error. And honestly, I think for everyone, natural hair products is really the way to go, right? And if it is that you stay within that natural realm and, you low manipulate, you do a bunch of, you just do a bunch of stuff that has nothing to really do with your hair. So it's like the oils, let me not say nothing to do with your hair, meaning it has to be low manipulation on your hair, right? So if it is that you're looking
Yeah, I've
to
heard
grow
that.
your hair, you have to do a lot of protective styles, a lot of no heat at all. And then the products will come in where they'll be natural based. And if it depends on what you want. If you want to wash and go, I'm sorry, you girls with the Gango Chana, you need a gel. You need a real heavy duty gel. All this,
Right.
elixir and curl definer, it's not going to work. You girls with the looser
Yeah.
pattern, you can do the curl definers, you can do all of those things. But if you
Mm-hmm.
really want your hair to be how it should be, how you want it to be, unfortunately, we got to get the crunch and use some gel.
No,
Unfortunately,
that is
it's
true.
hard. You know what I mean? But overall, like, it's trial and error, right? I wasn't a product junkie. I just wanted, and again, it has to do with me growing up in the Caribbean with my dad and, like, very much structured. Me personally,
Yeah.
I just want to know, okay, these were working. I'll
That's it.
use this
Right.
until I'm done, right? But because of YouTube has now introduced, like, trying out new things, and that's the reason why I have these in, because normally I wouldn't be doing this by myself. I would do like
Yeah.
I'm a twist out type of person. But what about you, Tanya? Like, how have you chosen your products?
Girl, I don't even know what to tell you because I feel like for me, you mentioned earlier that you were like a lazy natural to some extent. I feel like for me now, I'm just a lazy natural. I can't be bothered. As you can see, my hair's like in the fro because I don't have the time. Let me stop saying that. I don't make the time anymore to twist my hair. But before in the early, it was trial and error, trying to look at the little people on social media at the time that were talking about different products. 'Cause the products that I was using back then, that to me, they worked. I don't use them now. And I keep telling myself, maybe we need to go back to basics because it's like, here you are trying all these other fancy stuff. And let's be real, even though there's a lot of natural hair products out, everything is not for
Everybody.
it's not gonna be for everybody. And I'm here, okay, let me try this brand, let me try this, whatever. And it's like, my hair is not cooperating in the way that it used to. Again, that could be because, I took my fast self people sidebar there and I did a silk press 2019. Yes, I did a silk press in 2019 November. So before I'm talking about my hair not cooperating, let me give you guys the backstory. Did a silk press. Might as well say that I fried my hair. Like the stylist, she fried my hair was fried. Like I'm not gonna even lie. Like, I remember coming to you like, oh, let it grow. I said, I don't have time to let my hair grow. I need for it to be back natural because usually I did a silk press like 4 years before that, and 2 weeks after I wet my hair was back to being natural and in its curly state. And then now I'm here washing my hair because guys, let me tell you this: anytime you do a silk press and you leave the salon and you can smell
Your
the
hair?
burn. That's it. But I just figured, it could have just been the iron she was using or whatever. Girl, please wash my hair. I was still smelling. I went to a natural hair salon, and these are professional people, and they were trying their best, and like, let your hair grow out, and it's gonna. I said, I personally don't have the time because I need my hair back because I'm so used to, having my natural hair. So now that my hair is growing back out, and I'm trying, new products, I find that it's not cooperating with these products. Now I'm not sure because my hair follicle is not the same. I don't know what it is, the science behind that yet, but I keep telling myself maybe I should just go back to the older products. Like, I was using, let's just say, Carol's daughter. I forgot that line. What is that? Not line with like the red whatever. I'm pretty sure they rebranded now, but that was before Carol's daughter became, let's say, affordable to some people. Because let me tell you, it was on the pricier side. Yeah. So I was buying that, and I was using I forgot, kinky curly something, which I keep telling myself I'm gonna go back to that because again, these were products that were working for me. So now I'm in that phase or that stage now where I'm trying to figure out which product is best for my hair, given its current state. I mean, it's back to being natural, it's getting thicker and everything, but it's not the same. How should I put it? It's not the same texture, whatever as before. So I feel like I'm relearning now what product to use. But I'm not really a product junkie anymore because I'm trying to spend my money elsewhere. Because let me tell you, I would go to a Target or a Sally, wherever, and say, no, let me buy two products. And when you go to Target, I'm sure you have Target in Canada.
No, we don't.
You don't have Target in Canada anymore?
Don't. No, we don't have it.
Oh my God. Well, maybe it's a good thing because let me tell you, if you go to Target to buy two items, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is with Target, but you come out with. No, that's another podcast episode. Like, why do we spend money in Target? But like
Yeah.
that's like a whole episode by itself. But yeah, so I feel like I'm relearning. I'm trying to watch these natural hair people. I was like, you know what? I feel for me, I don't want to say insecure, but it's like stressful for me trying to figure out, wow, what product is going to work for me, or is it really working? Or am I just telling myself? So right now, I think I'm using. I can tell what I'm using now. I'm using a mixture of miel and cantu.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of me working. And my hair, it lacks moisture. I can bury my hair in a kind of moisturizer, and the next day is like, did you even use any
So
moisturizer at all?
you might need to get that, the spray bottle, and
Right.
just like a plant, right? How they would spray the plant. You might
I,
just need to do that. Just
and
spray.
you see,
Not
it's
like
funny you say that, because in the past, before, when I was like on my natural, I was like a natural hair blog or whatever, on my natural hair stuff journey or whatever, I'll get up in the morning because someone recommended, I get the spray bottle, which I do have. In the mornings, you spray your hair because it wakes up the cells and all these different things. And then they say, before you go to bed at night, you spray your hair again. Am I doing that? I'm not doing that. Because like I said, I just became a really lazy natural. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to do better because, like I say, if I'm trying to get my hair to get to a length, like kind of like you in that department, I got to do better. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, but I do want to transition to us talking about, we'll come on to other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
natural here in the corporate world, because, especially you're working for a big force, you got to present yourself. I've had friends who are natural, and when it's time to go on an interview, they either blow out their hair so it can be straight, or they get a wig because, you have to present yourself in a way, which is just so crazy to me, because I think over here, California just passed like a law or something stating that natural hair is now a law. And I'm like, what?
Not discriminate against someone.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, I'm saying to myself, why we haven't even passed a law? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So for you, being in that world, coming out of college, you have to think about, oh, let me have my hair this way, in working for the big four and everything. How was your experience going natural or being a natural in that working environment? Obviously, I'm sure you're working from home now, but before that, what was that like? How did you feel, or were you looked down upon? What was it like?
Okay, so when I was going in for my interviews, so I had like 2 interviews, right?
Uh-huh.
And I knew what it is that I wanted to do. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but so
I mean, hey,
but
exactly.
my dad actually taught me this when I was really, really young, where it's like, if you want to get somewhere and this particular group is presented in this way, and you
Uh-huh.
know the challenges for getting into this place, but you know where you need to get to. Sometimes you have to do what the Romans do. When in
Yeah.
Rome, do what the Romans do. And I understand persons wanting to straighten up their hair or put it on a wig. Because when I went to do this, was before I was even natural. When I
Uh-huh.
went, I didn't want one hair out of place. So I
Uh-huh.
literally pulled back my hair. I just don't want the attention to be on my hair. I want it to
Yeah.
be attention on what it is that I'm saying. Granted, is that me? Oh no, sorry. Granted, it shouldn't really matter, but it's the same for men. Like they wouldn't do any weird hairstyles.
Yeah, you
All
gotta make sure
you
you got
want
that line
the
out.
focus is-
Yeah.
exactly. You want the focus is on what you have to say, and you want your resume to speak. So I am of the firm belief of, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. However, when you get in, act like a Trojan horse. You get in, and then you wild out. You
Right,
wild
right.
you do what you want to do, so that the status quo isn't on, oh, okay, she's, slick back, her hair is all straight.
Yeah.
Status quo now is, oh, so that's natural hair.
She
That's
has range, right.
exactly. And that's the thing. You have to be able to separate brains from being black. You have to
Mm.
completely separate that. And that's why sometimes I feel like interviews should be done without seeing the person. You should just hear what they have to say.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I feel. And at the end of the day, you just cannot get away from unconscious bias. You cannot, unless you
No
close
matter how we
your eyes,
try.
right?
Yeah.
Like, you try, because I had to do interviews the other day, and I literally had to close my eyes and listen to what they have to say. You know what I mean? Because sometimes
Yeah.
there's this unconscious bias for maybe a pin they might have on their shirt,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
So when in Rome, do as Romans do, but don't continue to do as Romans do. Do as you feel like when you get in. So when I
Yeah.
got in now, I was still a little scared, of course, but then, I embraced being natural, very quickly. It wasn't hard for me to do. It was more like I really loved my hair. I loved how it came out.
Yeah.
I loved, like everything about it. And nobody could tell me that I wasn't professional. No one couldn't tell me that I was big shit popping. I felt good in my hair, right? And then when I'm looking back now on the pictures, I'm like, bitch, you thought you was the shit, right? But
Right.
it's all about how you present yourself and what it is, where it is that you need to get to. And when you finally get there, don't lose sight of your blackness, your hair, all this extra stuff. It's what makes you you, and that's what they have to respect you for. And then the work just speaks for itself at the end of the day.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, I never, cause like I said, I haven't like had premium in a long time. So whenever I was doing interviews, and for me mainly, it was like in the hospital settings. It's like, wow, again, you're still as a Black young woman trying to, advance in your career or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I did, took my time and did a twist out, and I went and, I just, well, this particular interview, I found that the director, she looked at me like, she was like, oh, why is your hair? She said, why is your hair so, some words she used, basically I was trying to say, why is my hair crazy?
You kidding.
But me at the time, because, I just can't be bothered sometimes. That's just me. I'm like, either you're going to hire me or not, because I think my resume speaks for itself. So I didn't respond to her, because again, as you say, you're trying to get that job, so you think that they can speak to you. And but when I got in girl, please, my hair, I was going to work with my hair. I mean, guys, I'm not telling you to show up unkempt. Let me just put that disclaimer out there. Please do not. But I feel like for me, sometimes like my ex will say, oh, I have natural hair, so my hair can never look crazy. But your hair, honestly, it can look crazy.
I agree.
But I was just getting up, straight up, and I was wearing my hair any old how. But I feel like I never had a feeling like, oh, I'm wearing my natural hair, because it's all I knew. And I'm not a wig person, because I'm not that. I don't know. I don't want to put it. I'm not that, there with my
I'm not there.
being a woman, but I'll put in like braids or whatever the case may be, because I do like a box braid, because I feel like that's the best braids on me. But I never, when I think about it, not even listening to you, I never felt like, wow, I have to slick my hair back, or I have to, maybe get a wig, like I said, because I've had friends who they do that. Let me flat iron my hair really quick, because I don't want them to think. And it's like, why? I have always asked myself, why is it? Because I'm thinking back from hundreds of years ago. Like, this is the hair that we had when people, you came from Africa, or you come to the different countries. It's the hair that we had.
Yeah.
So why is it? And again, this is come back to people being biased and all this racism crap, because it's like we came here with these hair, and basically we were forced to, straighten the hair, I guess, to look like our how should we put it? Our Caucasian counterpart. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just like that stigma has been there for years. So even though sometimes I feel like the natural hair community can be toxic, because it can be, guys, I feel like, we need to change that narrative, because again, it's who we are. It's the hair that's going over our head. We're unique in that sense, and we shouldn't have to. At the same time, we still do it, because again, there's just certain standards in today's society where we shouldn't have to like, oh, let me go straight my hair so I can look like my my white counterparts, so that they can take me more serious. When sometimes, not to like bash anybody, but sometimes you can be more qualified.
Yeah, of course, hands down.
You know what I'm saying? You can be even more qualified than our counterparts out here, but yet still the color of your skin, and then your hair. So I feel like you said, when they passed that law in California, I just started laughing. I'm not gonna even lie to you, because I didn't even know. Because again, for me, I'm in my world. I haven't experienced the whole,
Yeah, because it's like heavily Black, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but then now that I'm in my current role, it's like I feel a type of way. Even though I told I'm a lazy natural, I don't want to twist my hair and all these different things. I try to make the effort now, because again, I'm in a different setting than what I'm used to. Because I could have gotten recent things in my other job, but now that I'm in this quote unquote, working for the state and these different things now, it's like, oh, okay, let me carry myself, with my hair a particular way. Let me gel it back. Let me try to look, if I'm doing a twist up, make sure it's pinned up in a way so it doesn't look too, out there. So it's just like,
I think being in the corporate world, that had me that way when it came to my hair. Even when I was doing my twist outs, I was always like, it has to be, where it should be, don't need it to stray. I don't need it to go all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then now YouTube has taught me, or like even looking at other people's channels and other people when they do their hair, they are not fussed about, frizz and all that. So now I'm a little bit more, accepting of, crazy hair, but structured crazy hair.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I was putting in locks.
Ooh, well, I like those on you, but go ahead.
Oh, was it locks? Yeah, I remember the first time I was putting in locks, and I was so scared. I was like, yo, should I do this, bro? Like, should I do this? Do you want the attention? Because again, not again, I'm the only Black person where I work at, right? So,
wow, really?
Yeah, only, but it's a smaller office than
yeah.
So where I'm at now, I'm the only Black person. So obviously, a bitch sticks like a sore thumb. I stick.
Yeah.
Okay. So then to add locks onto that was crazy. And I remember, and it was so just weird of me. I remember looking at my coworker, she's white as hell. I'm like, I'm showing, I'm like, do you think these are nice? Do you think it'll be if I wore this? She's like, yeah, girl, wear that. I was like, oh, okay. Then I went and I did it, right? And no one said anything. I was like, all right, cool. Maybe they said something in the back or whatever, but then it got me more, and that was the first time I ever put anything in my hair like that. And it got me more and more interested in doing more. So then one time I put in the longest braids I've ever put in my entire life. Okay.
Right.
And I had to go to work for, I think, that week, the whole week, because I was going on a trip.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I couldn't even, wrap them up because it was braided.
It was long, yeah.
To the side, and it was long. Right. At that point, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. Mm-hmm. So then I went, and one of my coworkers were like, "Oh my gosh, your hair is so long." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's actually extensions, because I'm, and this is an unpopular opinion, I'm very much the advocate of teaching. Okay, I love teaching people about Black people hair, especially people that have never ever seen a Black person before, or ever even seen their hair, or even been up close. I'm very much the advocate of that. So, when he came over, and but we have that relationship. He came and he touched it, and he's like, oh my gosh. So I said, how does it feel? He's like, it's stiff. I'm like, yeah, because there's hair in there. There's additional hair in there. And he's like, oh, and he looks and he's like, wow, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah. So now I even had this Asian girl I love her to pieces. So she was very much like into, my hair. So when she would see, just like, oh, can I touch it? I'm like, yeah. And again, this is unpopular. People hate, like, natural hair people hate this. But
yes.
So she came and she touched it, right? And I'm like, yeah, this is, and she was tickled by it. She just couldn't believe it. Yeah. So then one time, like, I pulled out one side and I pulled it down to here and then let go. And she saw that it bounced back, right?
Yeah.
Once she saw that, it was almost like it was magic. She was like, oh. And she's like, can I do it? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And she goes and she pulls it. Yeah. And she was just like, wow. So you have to understand, our hair, at the end of the day, is magic.
It is, and I like that you say you like to educate people, because, I'm kind of that person. I said, don't ask me, I'll answer, but in my mind, I'm saying something about you. I'm being honest. Yeah, if I wear my hair, one way, as you say, then they're not used to maybe seeing, somebody wear their hair like that or that texture. Because again, in society, it's like, that wasn't a thing, or it's not acceptable. Or if I'm wearing braids or trying some other style, they'll be like, oh, how did you do it? Is it, so then you got to give them a whole rundown of, oh, this is what it is. And then you put the hair together, it depends on my mood, because I'm not always in that mood to be explaining. But, I still try to be nice and do that. I'm just being honest. Sometimes like, I say, yeah, it's just extensions and I keep it moving. But, when I can tell,
we feel like we need to explain it from beginning to end, when we really don't. We could just tell them, hey, boom, there's extra hair in there. That's all. And just move on, right? But Black people, I feel like we get so instantly offended that we need to prove this thing. And I'm like, yeah, they don't really give a shit.
Yeah, then that is true too. So I feel like, like I said, I don't mind explaining, because again, our hair is magic. It makes them become more aware. And, because again, we have to shift that mentality of, hair is supposed to look a certain way, and then they're so in their privilege that they don't even realize that us even wearing our hair out
is
a privilege in itself. It's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So but that is really a good thing. I do like, I think it was my last question before I do like a rapid fire question with you. But any advice, which even though I think you did sprinkle in some before, for those of us or for those of you listening who, you may be natural because, again, we're doing protective style. You may be in your wigs, your weave, wearing like a straighter hair, whatever it is. For those of young people coming up who are natural, and even those who are in the world who are natural, but they're fixed. I had a coworker, let me just sidetrack again. She has beautiful natural hair, and her curl pattern is like, she's like in the 3C area. And she just said, just talking to her, she was still afraid to, she's still wearing, because the first time I saw her, 'cause we were working from home at one point before we had to go in the office, unfortunately. But anyway, I said, well, you have nice hair, which, that's something that we, even as a natural, will say. And when we got to work, I realized that's not the hair that I saw. So she's like, yeah, I had to order this wig to come in here. And I'm like, why are you wearing a wig when you're here? First of all, you have the pattern that you can pass.
Or anything,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it's your hair. You don't need to conform thinking you have to wear a wig. Granted, like you say, when you're in home, you have to do what the women's do. And, we still have that because we're not at a place or point in society where we can just, when natural hair is accepted. And that's just a fact. Let's be honest. We even though we're out here on the natural hair community or natural hair life, whatever, it is not as celebrated and as accepted in other communities. And, we're working in environments that, it's still looked down upon. So what advice do you have for people who are thinking, well, I have my natural hair, but I have to keep like a protective styling Monday to Friday, and then I can only let my hair out, over the weekend? Like what can you tell them, or how can they navigate or, transition into accepting them here? They hear themselves, one, and then accepting that it's okay to wear your hair out at work. Or
Right.
how do you deal with, like, let's say if your supervisor, somebody's trying to give you like a hard time, saying that your hair is unprofessional? I mean, we've heard that. What advice do you have for anyone listening?
So anyone that is really like transitioning, right, or are trying to get more and more into, letting out your natural hair, I would say on the weekends, let out your natural hair. Just put it out there, make sure it's done, do a lot of research in terms of like the best hairstyles that last a longer time, right? The ones that'll last you a whole entire week, so you don't have to retwist, redo anything. I would say stick to hairstyles that are easy for you to do, right? So then on the weekends, when you do it, you become more and more comfortable. And granted, it's unfortunate that the pandemic is going on right now,
Right.
but I would have said, go out with your natural hair, go to the grocery store, go, so that you get more and more comfortable being out. Because
and take a selfie. Not to cut you off, because I've been telling my sister, I say take a selfie every day, so that way you become more comfortable with how you look with your hair. So someone that in, go ahead.
110% agree. Because when you look back, you'll be like, look at that person. They were so scared to show their natural hair. And then now you're like, come on, it's not that big of a deal. So get yourself more used to seeing yourself natural, right? And then once you're used to seeing yourself natural, the confidence will come. And then little by little, maybe on a Friday, make Friday your natural hair day. You go out, you go there with your natural hair on a Friday. And then get used to, because I know some people don't like the attention, get used to people saying, oh, that's your hair. Get used to it, because at the end of the day, it's your hair.
It's beautiful, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, agreed. And it's beautiful. And at the end of the day, all hair are nice hair to me. And my hair is just less manageable to deal with, or, it's less, it's
challenge,
to deal with than the, persons with the 3A, 3Bs and all that. But at the end of the day, everyone's hair is nice. So just wear your hair. It's yours. You can't do anything about it. You can't take a pill. You can't drink a liquid for you to change your hair pattern. You just have to deal with whatever it is that God gave to you.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that idea. Like you say, like for me, like I say, I'm trying to do the selfie every day. Like you say, make Friday. Like you say, wear your hair. Because sometimes even though, because we're so conditioned, okay, I can't wear my natural hair to work. So it becomes a routine or a thing now where even on the weekends, you're not even thinking about wearing your hair out. So as you say, I like the idea of, wearing your hair out on the weekend, practice different styles. So then you're becoming even more comfortable doing different styles. And as you say, make Friday or whatever day of the week you want to, whether it's Monday, Friday, but Friday seems to be, a better day. Then you can gradually go into Monday, Tuesday. Like pick a day of the week where you want to wear your natural hair. Where that is, as you say, get prepared. People are gonna say, "Oh, what is that?" Well, you got to become a teacher, and like you said earlier, you don't have to go into detail. They say, "Yeah, it's natural." I mean, and they know. Sometimes they do know. Let's be real. They do know that it's all here, but because we've been so conditioned and programmed to just this is the only acceptable here. That's what I do like that. So guys, if you're listening, Charlene, aka Loaferette, if you are a young professional coming up with natural hair and you've been skeptical about whether you should wear hair out or not. Like she said earlier, if sometimes some places do require you to, let's say maybe you have to straighten your hair or put on a wig for whatever reason. Because again, you're trying to make a first impression. That's fine because we are not at the place in life where we as Black people or as young Black women, we can just have the opportunity to, you know what, let me just go with my natural hair. That's just not our reality in some places. It's fine if you have to straighten your hair for, whatever, or put on a weave.
I would say straighten here because I'm like I'm
no
not
heat.
about like heat life.
But I'm done from the heat life for sure.
There's ways that you can rock your hair that people don't pay attention. There's the slick back, and you put a little piece on in the event that your hair is shorter, but a slick back, you can't go wrong with the slick back for sure without a doubt.
Right. So as you say, find different ways that you can, and even if you don't have to conform, you can go with your natural hair to an interview. But again, like I say, society, we some of us are not afforded that opportunity to really. It's in our best interest for us to, especially if it's an in-person, like you said, it's better if you're hearing what somebody's saying versus seeing them. But obviously, that's not gonna happen as far as that. But find creative ways to make your hair deemed appropriate to the those in the corporate culture. And then again, like I said, let's get used to you using or wearing your hair out. Our hair is magic. It's beautiful. There's nothing apparently, it's being more accepted now, but we still have a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
So but definitely I do have a few, I call it rapid fire questions to ask you.
Ready.
What is your favorite natural hair product? If you can only pick two products, or which one? What's your go-to?
No, Tanya, already.
The world is ending. You can only pick two products. What are they?
Gosh. Okay, two products. Okay. I'm gonna say for sure conditioner. Okay. Any kind of conditioner has to be a conditioner. And then I'm gonna say I forgot the name of it, but there's this gel by Curls Unleashed. I'll do that because it's not as hard as EcoStyle gel. It's a medium, so I can do that. It acts as a moisturizer as well as a gel. So yeah.
All right, go to natural hairstyle.
Twist out, hands on, without doubt.
Okay, favorite. Okay, this is gonna be a bit tricky, but favorite natural hair brand. You can give me. You can list 3 to 5. I'm not gonna make you go. You choose one. Like what?
I'm gonna do 3 of them. So Auditor Essentials.
Yes.
Really good, very natural products. And I do have a code. It's Loafer 15. You get 15% off. And I'm not plugging my code. Like I barely plug my code.
Well, we're gonna plug it in the show notes today. But you go ahead.
Yeah, I don't get anything from this code. I'm just how much I love the product.
Right.
And I buy it all the time. I'm gonna say the Talia Wajid.
Oh yeah, I love that brand. Yeah.
The Apple and Aloe, really good. And Curls Unleashed. Those 3.
Yeah, I've tried them one. I've been meaning to try the essential? It's just different. Yeah, I've been meaning to try that, but again, I'm just like I'm just skeptical with my hair right now because of my situation. Okay,
I have psoriasis, a slight case of psoriasis.
Oh, right.
Sometimes I have to put like these drops that they give me from like the skin doctor, and when I use Opulent, I don't have to put the.
Oh wow, that says a lot. For me, I'm trying to figure what's my. I don't even know if I'm qualified to answer this question at this point because I'm still. I'm back to trying to figure out what I like. Right now I'm liking the Miel brand, the pomegranate line. That's been working for me. And that's all I can say because I don't know what else I'm using. Huh?
I'm not a Meow fan.
Mind you, this is my first time using it, but well, why?
It flakes on me.
Okay,
Really,
this is my
really
first
bad.
time. Yeah, this is my first time trying them out. So I say, let me try to give them a 3-month trial and see if
Yeah,
But
you
so
should know how
far,
it works.
but for me again, no, my hair is just not the same. So again, I'm just trying to figure it out. So that's what I've been using. The Tally what can't pronounce
Yeah,
that.
what do you- yeah,
Tally
yeah.
OG. I love that curling cream. Oh yes, I love it. And I don't know. I'm just gonna say Shea Moisture because I'm just the hibiscus line though. Even though I feel like the Shea Moisture
Oh
hibiscus,
yeah,
yeah, that particular line. Even though I feel like they've been changing the formula for that
yeah.
line,
I haven't really
in my
tried that, but yeah.
yeah, because that was the first one from them that I tried, and I tried the other line, but that one now I feel like they're changing the formula for that, so it's not
Mhm.
even giving me the same result. But yeah, those are my thing. But the last and most important question of today's episode is: a restaurant names a dish after you. What is it? What is it, and why?
A restaurant names a dish after me. What is it and why? Okay. Um. So I have to give you the name I think it should be called.
Yeah, yeah. What is it? Give me the name, what the dish is, and why. Why did you pick that name?
Tana, this is hard. You don't really eat. Like I'm a weird eater, right? Although
I mean, I am too, but I mean, like I told, what did I say? I said I'm a pizza person, so it has to be something pizza. But I say, I'm like, sexy pizza.
okay. I'm gonna say I'm gonna have to say ribs. So
Uh huh.
I'll call it loafer ribs. And
Okay,
the reason
okay.
why is because you see how easy ribs, well, when they cook it right, how it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
off the bone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
that's how I like it. Yeah, me too.
just absolutely love that. Why? Damn, that don't mean I'm easy, but I'm not easy.
No,
But
but I
it's
mean, it just has that
so
taste.
it's because of how long it takes to cook those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is with natural hair and with me in a sense where
Mm.
patience
I like
is
that.
everything when it comes to doing your hair, even being a good person, even being at work.
Yeah,
Patience. This really kind of capsulized everything that we spoke about. It's
yeah.
all patience because as you can see, like when you cook ribs and you have patience, it cooks exactly how whoever
And you
or
can feel it. You can feel the love.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can feel the
yeah,
love
yeah,
coming
yeah.
out of that and how easy that bone just, twisted
Mm-hmm.
out. Oh, Jesus. So yeah.
Look at you, I care. Well, guys, we're at the end of our episode, and I want to thank you, Charlene, aka Loaferette, for taking time. Because, guys, we're recording. I mean, it's 9:30 now, but we started earlier this morning. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day, because I know it's your weekend to film and do all these things. Because, guys, let me tell you, she's gonna tell us where we can find her, but she is as consistent as they come. I'm telling you, like it's admirable how consistent she is. I will give you that. So I'm like, damn, I mean, where do you find the time? But thank you, honestly, thank you for coming on and for taking time out of your day. I really appreciate it. And of course, you're welcome back to come on to Tea with Tanya podcast. We can talk about so many different things. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have you back on to talk about something else as well because I'm already thinking something in my head. But thank you. And of course, let the people know where they can find you. And guys, I'm gonna put it in the show notes, and we're gonna use that code for that brand as well. But just let the people know where they can find you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me, Tanya. It was so fun. I know it's 9:30 right now, but honestly, I'm usually up by 6, so it's okay. But yeah, thanks so much for having me. Yeah, guys, you can find me at Loaferette at everything. Doesn't matter what it is. It's LOAFERETTE, and it's at Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, everything. You can just find me at Loaferette. Again, I do natural hair content. I also do hauls. I do a little bit of lifestyle. And then you'll have like 1 or 2 times you have Brad come in, which is my boyfriend. A lot of people love when he comes in because he's Dominican.
Well, is he even your boyfriend? I mean, we have a new status
Oh,
now. I
my
mean,
feet.
yeah, talk about boyfriend. Like, no, we got a new status.
Tanya, you call me out. Yeah, it's been really fun, Tanya. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of
Yeah.
one of the best recordings I've done.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy it is.
I'm proud of Tanya for doing
Yeah.
this. So proud. She has actually been very consistent. I'm proud of her.
Yes, I'm trying.
Definitely just go and binge watch all of the other episodes. They're really, really well put together with really, really, really good topics and really, really good guests. So you guys should definitely check them out.
Yes. Well, thank you for that. And of course, guys, that's all I have. I am not doing anything besides working. So I can't share anything, but I'll definitely share that link to Charlene's the natural hair line for that, so you guys can go and try this product out. But yeah, I'll see you in the tea tasting room next week.